Max Angel. Thanks for watching, guys.
Moving on. In the top left,
Yes.
PartinG, spawning with 12 probes. And FanTaSy spawning with 12 SCVs.
Very balanced right now.
I think even Travis could be even with FanTaSy at this point.
Yes. Maybe even for a few seconds.
I don't know. Let's see who builds the worker first.
Okay.
Whoa.
Ooh. Wait.
They've both been building for 0.2 seconds.
Can you see how many ticks are done? 12? No, it doesn't show you.
I think it might be high, but I think FanTaSy is ever so
his
faster.
is slightly faster.
I think that might be a game-ending advantage.
Yeah. I mean, this is the level of analysis you can get with the big brain team. These are the things that you wouldn't think affects a game, but you know.
You want to know something I've been thinking about, or at least I have thought about for a while?
Why?
You know how the
continue.
You know how the larva is always at the bottom of a hatchery in a Zerg player for a Zerg player? I'm wondering if it makes a significant difference if they spawn in the top versus the bottom, because the drone has to walk all the way around the hatchery to get to the middle.
That's true.
I mean, it seems like that'd be maybe 1 or 2 minerals a drone at least. I don't know, and over the course of however many drones you make, I feel like that could add up a little bit.
Yeah, what if they made the drones take up a larva, but then they spawned out of the hatchery? You know what I mean? Like directly.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of funny. I wonder if it even makes a difference though. Like,
I mean, I think it does. It definitely does, because they definitely spawn further away. They don't go a little bit further. And maybe throughout the course of a 20-minute game, all those drones equals out to X amount of minerals.
Of course, your army units also spawn slightly closer to fight.
That's true.
So maybe when you spawn on the top, you have to go for.
What if you could move your larva around the hatchery?
Just like click them and like start inching them around.
Right, like at the very beginning, you. And they slowly crawl.
Ray's joined. I think we need to make a private.
Okay, wait. I'm moving him out. Okay, that didn't happen. Next time, this will be fixed. But for now,
that's part of the joy of the casual.
Yes, random people coming in. Okay, let's actually look at this game.
I don't know what you're talking about. That was some high level.
Alrighty.
So to balance, protoss should rally behind their nexus, and then to like make it fair for Zergs.
Their probe should start from behind the nexus.
Yeah.
What about Terran?
Terran, yeah, only for Maru though.
What about mules? Like, should you make it so mules can only land at the CC? I don't know. Anyways.
If mules could mine Vespene gas, that
would be insane. Okay, why don't you give us the context of this game? This is FanTaSy versus PartinG.
All right, HomeStory Cup. I forget if this is groups or whatever, but both players. You know, I think FanTaSy just came back from working the military, and in his player interview, it was kind of funny. He said he practiced for 12 hours a day for a month straight to prepare, which is kind of insane. But go FanTaSy, I guess. And PartinG also like I think he took a break.
Oh yeah, I believe so.
And he's back, and he's bringing the what does PartinG say on his stream? The big boy builds or something?
Big boy, yes. PartinG big boy.
PartinG big boy.
Yeah, we're the big brain cast. He's the big boy. It's outfitting. United at last.
And PartinG actually makes FanTaSy build his command center off.
Yes.
That's cool. That gives him like 10 extra seconds, or 10 less seconds of SCV production. You know something that's kind of this is all completely standard, but when the probe stays this long, I kind of wonder why some Terrans don't keep chasing down the probe. So right here, I think the Reaper will definitely reach the probe before the probe gets back to the base of PartinG.
Right.
If the Reaper goes straight for the probe.
Right.
But I don't think FanTaSy is going to find the Reaper because PartinG knows that and he's going to hide his probe somewhere. So one thing FanTaSy can do is just chase down the probe, and then that's a free Reaper kill. Like PartinG can't hide the probe anywhere.
Oh, so FanTaSy. Okay, so he pulls his SCV back.
Right.
And really, he
does
does
a little.
Does he hide the probe that well?
Let's see what happens. I didn't watch this. Just assuming things. Yeah. See, look at that. So if FanTaSy had kept chasing, it's a free probe kill.
You might as well. Right.
But instead, he just gets the mining time, which is fine. But you know, it's a
and then
it's
you
a
know the
small
probe's
thing.
dead, so you know you don't have to worry about it being on the map.
Okay. Exactly. So that's something he could have done. I don't know. Maybe if this probe does some nonsense that wins PartinG the game, then you know. All right. So factory reactor is pretty standard. Adapt, stalker, twilight. Okay, so PartinG is going twilight. That probably means blink. This is pretty standard from the Terran, just reactor factory. FanTaSy does not send his Reaper across the map. He's actually looking for the probe, which he could have killed, which is funny.
Right. I think he partially looking for the probe and just checking to make sure nothing was hidden away a pylon or something.
I like that FanTaSy. I think at the super top level, or at the slightly lower levels, all the players will just send the Reaper straight across. But at the higher level, some pros are like, this Reaper isn't going to do shit. My opponent's too good. I'll just keep it back. Maybe kill a probe. Maybe help deal with this type of adept play. And go in for the scout later, which is other Reaper. So I like that from FanTaSy. Except he could have killed the probe. Oh my gosh, what? He let it in.
Because the Reaper and the adept went over at the exact same time.
I don't think PartinG will finish this though.
Oh,
he did. Oh, that was actually a cool play.
Wait, so he was trying to bait the adept in? Surely not, right? He would not want the adept in this base.
I don't think he wants. Maybe he does want the adept in the base because, you know. Oh, actually, PartinG might have done.
I think PartinG, he was deciding like, do I want my adept in the base? And then he's like, no, I don't want my adept in the base.
Does my mic sound good, by the way?
Yeah, it's fine.
So let's see what PartinG did here. This is like a pretty small thing, but it's kind of cool. Yeah, so I think PartinG actually fakes like he's going to go in the base. Or maybe he does decide last second, like you were saying.
So he doesn't see the starport.
Oh, shit. Okay. So he fakes like he's going... Actually, I don't think he ever leaves the supply deep. You know, I think FanTaSy does want to trap the adept inside, because the most important thing for FanTaSy is to finish this center, which I still can't.
And if he knows the adept's inside, then...
Yes. And he could probably kill it without much difficulty with the Reaper, pull a few SCVs, bring her out soon.
Sure.
But, okay. PartinG doesn't go in. I think that's a smart move. Oh, I want to point out something PartinG does real fast. Almost every protoss player will go we'll go Nexus before Cyber to get a little more econ. But PartinG goes Cyber for Nexus to get that adept out a little faster, so we can do exactly this play. In every game I've seen from PartinG, this early adept cancels the CC like pretty consistently. It's kind of incredible, actually. So I think the Nexus is like maybe 10, 15 seconds later.
But as a result, he almost gets a guaranteed cancel on the opponents.
Exactly. I don't know if it's guaranteed or not, but every game I've seen...
A high percentage chance that he cancels it.
Right. Unless Terrans start doing something different, then it seems like it gets the job done. So I think it delays like 10 seconds. So however long it takes to mine an extra 150 for the Cyber Core.
Gotcha. FanTaSy actually could have gotten a CC down, I believe, if he didn't have both SCVs A moving that probe, but we're nitpicking a little bit, but
the classic mini game of SCV. All right, let's keep going. So there are like a lot of little things that have happened, even though this looks that only the big brain people will see.
Big brains for big boy partying.
That's right. Big boy partying. I wonder if his brains match his
what?
Match his boiliness.
Boiliness? Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
Boiliness. That's a new one.
All right, let's see. Yeah, so this adept gets the cancel. It's pretty sick play, really. I think FanTaSy might have been going for a little bait too there with the SC2. Does PartinG see the starport?
Yeah. No, I don't.
Now
he does. Now he does. Okay.
You know, gotta nitpick a little. Something that Terrans really should do: build the starport out of range of the adept on the right. Like 1 pixel to the right, and he can't see the starport.
Right. I'm actually not sure why he doesn't do that. Maybe just an oversight on his part. Just this one game, he's just like, whoops, forgot about that.
I see even top Terrans build them there a lot. I mean, it's not like the starport wants to go on the reactor, right? He's not going to double reactor out Liberators,
right?
Probably.
I mean, you could literally just put it anywhere else, and
right. Like, if you see the factory, 90% of the time there will also be a starport, but still, like maybe the starport's being proxied. You can just just hide it a little bit out of it.
Right. I agree. There's no reason not to take whatever advantage you can against your opponent. So
exactly. A little information withheld is always. So PartinG is going for that probably blink follow-up. Blink, build it. Oh, DTs, okay. That's interesting. That's definitely a big boy play.
Yes. Living up to his name already.
And that probe is going to build the pylon for the DTs. Oh, that's funny. FanTaSy. Oh, he's going tanks. FanTaSy is going. Okay, this is something you should like always do as Terran. PartinG sees the mine.
Right.
He knows exactly where it is. As soon as the mine is out of vision of the stalker, well, I guess in this case it goes back in vision.
Yeah.
But constantly moving the mine around just so protoss doesn't know what's going on is really good. Oh my god, look at this.
Wow, he gets it. That's insane.
Okay. So PartinG saw Widow Mine. What else did he see? Yeah, he doesn't really know. He's going for these. Okay, let's keep. Oh, look, this mine's gonna get it too. PartinG, wait.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Wait, I thought PartinG even saw that land, didn't he?
He saw it. He saw it walk up there.
So PartinG has FanTaSy with the big brain play this time.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at PartinG's vision.
Big brains collide. So he sees it go up.
This is actually such a big brain play. Just block one of the exits of the stalker. Look. Oh my gosh. PartinG should have gone off to the right because he knew the Widow Mine went off to the left, but it's still a really smart play by.
Right. Just that small movement there. Because at the least, even though PartinG knows, even if he knows it's there, it still blocks off the path. He knows.
Exactly.
So
I really think it's little plays like that make top players like FanTaSy and PartinG better than scrubs like me.
Nice. Such modesty. Is that modesty? I don't know. I don't know what the correct word is.
Self-effacement.
Yes.
This Reaper sneaks around, which is good because it wasn't doing anything at home and its purpose out. So I actually really like the way both players have played this so far. It's good stuff. Except I think FanTaSy should have followed this SCV at the start, but other than that, I really like how.
You can increase the speed if you want. We're on normal. Nice.
I wonder why this. Oh. Dude, look at PartinG's vision. He's placed the pylon, and he's patrolling this probe right here to look for it. That's pretty smart. That's... Oh my gosh, that's so good.
Wait, so explain that is to...
Yeah, so PartinG, first of all, he saw the starport in the main.
Right.
And if there's a starport, there's almost always going to be a drop, a Liberator, or Cloak Banshees coming out of it because it was so early. And if, you can either send it to the natural or the main, but if he sends it to the main, the odds are not 100%, but they're pretty high. They'll pass over either this pylon or this probe.
I see.
So he's doing a really good job of spotting, looking for that, even though he doesn't know for sure it's coming. That's just really good stuff from PartinG.
Gotcha. Just good awareness of, what info he has, and then making use of that.
Exactly. Honestly, you could do that almost every game and it'd be good, but it's even better now that the starport was. I don't know if you want to rely on this catching whatever's going to the main, because lit the probe in the... Still good shit. Increases your odds of catching it for sure.
Exactly.
Getting an advantage. Alright, so these GTs are coming up. Let's see if PartinG... Reaper's gonna stop this.
Oh, just barely in time. That DT.
Oh. Did he see it? Did he see the glimmer?
Well, the thing is, did the Reaper did not see the DT warping in, right? I don't believe so. So
let's look at FanTaSy's vision.
That's true. He has no indication that it's DTs. But okay, right. He just happens to see that literally just in the nick of time. Wow.
Dude, somehow Terrans always see observers.
Well, that's because they're looking for observers.
They're so good at it, though. I guess it's... Oh no, he's not even going to be able to kill those DTs. That's... Oh, that's so bad. Okay, I think that's game right there. Well, let's see how many kills this Banshee gets. Oh man, PartinG has shield batteries in both.
Yep. Again, just making use of that info he got.
Yeah.
So there's pretty much no trade here for FanTaSy in terms of damage.
Mm-hmm.
He just takes it and.
Yeah, FanTaSy. I wonder if PartinG always builds those shield batteries, or if he did it for particular, because that's 200. When does he throw down the Twilight? This is a pretty neat... I think it's a... Have you heard of Nash equilibria, Travis?
Yeah, from philosophy?
No, it's from game theory.
Right. Sorry, that's what I mean. Rational decisions.
Right, where sometimes there's like a 100% best strategy. Sometimes there's Nash equilibria, where there's like strategies you have to alternate percentage of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is one of those strategies that every top player, a fast DT shrine, should throw in like 15-20% of the time maybe as like a Nash equilibria, because it seems like the Terran has to either... It seems like if the Terran doesn't scout it with the Reaper, it's pretty hard to hold. I don't really see what FanTaSy has done here besides blindly building a turret or scanning the main of PartinG. And even if he sees it, the DT shrine is like not even that big an investment and it can keep FanTaSy. So I think it's just a really solid strategy for PartinG to throw in like 20%.
That's why he's big boy.
That's why he's big brain, big boy. So I'm pretty sure the DTs did too much damage and PartinG will win easily, but I guess we can just fast. DTs get their kills. The unit's lost tab tells a tale. It tells a tale of sorrow and misery.
Well put. So if we want to talk about, basically mistakes made or missed opportunities, FanTaSy. So we know PartinG did a good job of that attempt. He saw the NAT. He delayed the NAT twice. He saw the starport. So he got a whole bunch of information, maybe even resulting in putting down those shield batteries, probably, which let him get off pretty scot-free from that Banshee. Whereas FanTaSy didn't really get any information. Is that acceptable? Do you think that's just a risk that he was willing to take? Like it would work. That would normally work in every other situation, but it just so happened that versus the DTs.
Well, let's see. The Reaper's job is to go die for the Terran, right?
Right.
To sacrifice his life.
And you pointed out that he keeps the Reaper at home, right?
So let's see if he could have done any better. So I don't mind keeping the Reaper at home at first, because sometimes the probe of PartinG will sneak back in and like see if he can see any of the buildings.
Right.
Like the Reaper goes across the map, the probe sneaks. But instead, FanTaSy keeps that at home. Actually, FanTaSy might have. So with this Reaper, he might have actually been looking for the probe, going straight to the base of PartinG, and he's like, "I should have caught it by now. Where's the probe?" Type of thing. Maybe that's what he was thinking. Maybe. Once again, he could have killed the probe at the start and gone straight across PartinG's base. That would have been much better. Actually, that might have been a game-ending. You know, the fact that he didn't follow that probe with the SCV might have cost him, because the Reaper would have gone had the probe been dead.
And then possibly
seen the Dark Shine. It's the little things, man.
That's true, because right, now that he hasn't killed the probe and the Reaper's done no scouting, he's like, well, I missed 2 opportunities here. Just gonna keep it home, try to get at least some value out of it.
Right. He does look around a bit. I think he's also looking for proxy starport potentially.
Right.
But let's see.
Yeah. He's...
What we're looking for? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying he's looking left and right, and I think just now that's what he was checking for.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, small thing. If you keep playing, how he gets. So at this point, if you want to pause it. So at this point, he does. Oh, actually, okay. Never mind. He does see the starport, but FanTaSy puts down the wall again, which lets him go back in, which is just a small thing. But I didn't realize he already saw the starport at that point. So.
Let's see.
So see, yeah, the wall's down, and as a result, PartinG peeks back in real quick.
Right. I see that. And FanTaSy throws on Tech Lab now.
Yeah, and just normally, ideally we're not. I don't think we are, but you don't want to quote unquote nitpick these small things. But this is a good example of a game where it pretty much was just a result of these very small missed opportunities that resulted in potential, FanTaSy losing. If he kills the probe, maybe he sends the Reaper over, scouts the DT, but those small few lapses in the early game resulted in him not getting any value out of the Reaper, not being able to scout, and that small little movements by PartinG with his adept to see the starport lets him know exactly what FanTaSy's doing. So I think that really does add up to, and at least in this game, the win or the loss, which is interesting.
The little things definitely matter. I think, thinking about it again though, maybe when maybe the Reaper comes home anyways when it runs into Adept on the way to PartinG's base. I think I have to give credit to PartinG here for like the DT build works a lot better since he got the Cyber first and sent the Adept straight to the opponent's.
Right.
But still, okay, let's play through it one more time and see if there's any opportunity where FanTaSy should have sent his across the. Oh, the Stalker almost gets it. Okay, yeah, so right here, as soon as the Adept is dead, FanTaSy tries to send the Reaper across, which is really good. Because he knows he needs to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
There goes the Reaper. PartinG tries to stop it. No luck. Big brain Widow Mine move.
Yep. But I don't believe, right, this Reaper, I believe does he even get a scout off? He just leaves it here, right? Or does it actually go in?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, this Reaper now needs to go straight in. Let's see what he...
Checks of third. No.
Sees a Stalker. Yeah.
To keep it alive.
This probe is so close to the Reaper. Does he see that probe on the minimap? I just want to... Just out of curiosity.
So. I don't think so. Let's look at the vision.
Just out of curiosity.
No. Oh, just for a second.
You know, commentators on the pro matches are always like, "Oh, he saw it on the minimap." But
why isn't he reacting? Clearly, he saw it on the minimap.
For like a tenth of a second, I mean.
Right. No.
You have to be.
Right, we understand that this is clearly cannot expect FanTaSy to have see that. But,
Right. I mean, ideally, pros look at the minimap about. I think Hearthstone said he looks at the minimap. He had like an eye tracker on, and he looks at the minimap 30% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you're like 30% of the time, probably like maybe once every 2 seconds, kind of just glance over.
Exactly, and then then it appears for just a millisecond, like literally just a millisecond, like a few milliseconds,
right.
And it's gone.
You can't really fault players for that.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's hard to do. And who expects the probe like controlling it?
Right.
Oh, this Widow Mine is well placed. Yeah, so I think the Reaper. Okay, the Reaper's looking for proxy. Oh, is it gonna find?
Right. So he's not scanning or anything, but he is trying to narrow down pretty much or confirm what PartinG is doing without actually, seeing. Which I think if you're obviously a very high level player, you can do that safely. Okay, there have been no units pushed across. I saw Stalker at home, and he's already checking off a whole bunch of different things in his head. Like, it can't be this, it can't be this, it's probably not this.
That's right. Actually, you bring up a good point. Instead of scouting maybe FanTaSy's thought process, instead of scouting them, if I just scout to see if there are proxy pylons, that'll be good enough. Because if there's no proxy pylons, he can't be going deep. Right. Every good player will have a proxy pylon.
Exactly.
So I can get behind it.
Right.
Maybe it seemed hard to get to the main because of the Stalker. He took some damage. There's another Stalker at the other entrance.
Right. It's about taking a calculated risk, right? Mm-hmm. Sure. You can never be fully comprehensive, regardless of the race or how good you are. There's always going to be something. If they do something absolutely crazy, it might work in a given situation. And FanTaSy obviously is aware of that, and he's like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna try to narrow down and give myself lower that risk as much as possible. But the risk is never going to be 0%. There's always could be something that could happen. Mm-hmm. But and we see in the scenario that small chance of this working does work because he just did not. He was not able to fully account for that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm not skilled enough to know if he should have dropped the scan based off what he's thinking right now. But if he had dropped the scan, he probably would have figured out something was going on. But he decides not to, and I can't even that I can't really fault him because again, when you're playing at such a high level, you have to take these calculated risks to get ahead, to get the lead. You know, it really does come down to that small stuff.
It's kind of interesting. FanTaSy is starting this Raven before even. So I guess that's like normally you build 2 Banshees, right? But he just builds a 1 and builds a Raven. So maybe somehow he's already ambitious.
Right, or maybe this is just another method to potentially cover that DT option. But because you know it's just not good enough, you know, is basically what it comes down to. Because PartinG is just doing it, you know, more explicitly. Like he's like, okay, I'm definitely going to do this. This is what my whole build revolves around. Whereas FanTaSy, sorry, is like, I'm going to get this just in case, and maybe it works out. Most of the time, it'll catch the DT, but in this scenario, it just doesn't line up. The builds don't line up. You know, PartinG CTs come in, you know, at just a much earlier time than he expected.
Another reason why I say this is a strategy you shouldn't do all the time is FanTaSy has 9 Marines here. If he has 50 energy on either one of his centers, like this build doesn't work, right? He just the Ravens out. Yeah, so you can't do this every. I want to say even there's some luck involved.
Right, like a majority of the time, this probably doesn't work, right? Whether just how fins line up. But
I don't know about a majority. But
maybe not a majority of the time, but right, even 50-50, you know, if he has the energy, it doesn't work at all, and he's very far behind, potentially. But it just so happens that in this situation, it works out very well.
This is really... I noticed that a lot of Korean players do take these 50-50 risks. Maybe not even 50-50. Somehow they have the odds ever in their... But
and there's other factors too, like he knows something about his opponent. He feels like some sort of intuition, like I think this game I'm gonna do this for some arbitrary reason. Who knows, you know?
Right. Yeah, the opponent the player knowledge. Maybe they've played each other before too. But I've noticed Koreans are willing to take these risks, where a lot of foreigners have the mindset. Yeah, I'm gonna do a build that's solid and just try to win the game, quote unquote, straight up. But I don't know, that doesn't really work. There's risks you can't take that will throw off your opponent. Okay, so let's just finish off this game really fast.
Sure.
36 SCVs. FanTaSy's not completely out of it, but let's see how PartinG wins. I'm assuming because he did so much damage.
He does actually hold off that Warp Prism, which I didn't notice on the right side with DTs in it.
Oh, I didn't notice that either.
He scared it off, but at this point, it's yeah, the damage has been done.
The damage has been done.
Terrible damage.
Exactly. Your units are taking damage. Terrible damage.
I'm gonna laugh if it turns out PartinG loses or something.
No way, I wouldn't believe it for a second. Look at this damage.
Terrible. Oh, it gets the
it
gets the stim. Oh lord.
Oh god, it's so over.
Yeah.
Oh,
DT and the DT's okay. All right, PartinG. All right.
Yeah, we know you're a big boy, PartinG. Oh, what bad micro.
Yeah. Just tab out.
Okay.
So, PartinG just does a very nice job of pushing at the right time, not letting FanTaSy get back in it.
This isn't even all in. He's taking a fourth behind this.
Yeah.
This is pretty dirty from PartinG. Oh, he kills the stim again.
That's.
Yeah. So it's so over. Wow. Oh my. Okay, well let's just watch the GG.
Yep.
Fast.
Just enjoy this while it lasts.
Oh boy.
Those zealots are beefy, dude. They look huge.
They
look like football players. Like, look at them.
They do look like football players. That's funny.
Alrighty, okay. So how would you like to summarize this game?
DTs.
DTs.
Let's see.
So
I think, yeah.
I mean, early game, a lot of small thins, right? Basically just stacking on top of each other.
Yeah, I want to give credit to PartinG though for going for the early Cyber and keeping the opponent's Reaper on the other side of the map. Because if the Reaper gets in at all, the build is a bust, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's true too that PartinG can like proxy the Dark Shrine, so there's like other ways of keeping the DT Shrine hidden. But PartinG keeps it hidden just by keeping the side of them.
Right.
He pretty much just gets lucky. There's no scan. There's no scan energy. Like I'd say just a pretty unlucky game for FanTaSy.
Like at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, potentially, right. If the DTs get scanned, do you think they're even at that point, or FanTaSy comes out pretty far ahead because he doesn't lose all those SCVs?
DT Shrine gets scanned, or the Reaper gets in. FanTaSy comes out slightly ahead, or maybe somewhat ahead, just because normally DT Shrine not something you want. So yeah.
So a little bit of a risk by PartinG. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. But if it does work out, it's pretty much a game ender because you're PartinG and you're not gonna, generally not gonna, drop the ball after that. You're gonna finish them.
Yep, that's a good way of putting it. Smart risk. Yeah, so I really don't know if FanTaSy better. Somehow he's sniffed out or just planned to build this Reaper. This Reaper just gets super unlucky, and if he goes just a little bit to the left, he pylon.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's just not a great game. Not a lucky game for FanTaSy at all. Yeah. By the way, this pylon location for PartinG is smart because it's far away. I don't know if he. Whoops, I didn't mean. I don't know if he knew, or it's just smart. The Reaper didn't find it, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit of luck too.
Right. It's
kind of.
It's
yeah.
Just,
go ahead.
It's like the last place that he checked, right? He wasn't even on his list of initial check for the Reaper.
Right. I mean, if you look through FanTaSy's vision and all the places he's checked pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Except there.
Yep.
So, I'd just say unlucky game from. A few small things, but also, if he has a scan here, it also doesn't happen.
Exactly. He gets both DTs for sure, and yep. But as a result, he doesn't even kill either DT, which is just.
It's unhappy. It's unlucky. I guess if FanTaSy wanted to be really safe, he could save a scan until his Raven is out, but that slows your macro down a bit.
Exactly. He's like the Raven should cover my bases most of the time, but in this one scenario, it didn't. It's just slightly off.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna start building DTs for Astrea 20% of the time.
There you go. You should just have a builder generator, or that tells you what to do, but you have it preset so that 20% of the time it'll tell you to do this. That's actually that would be interesting to see how that affects your win rates.
That would be funny.
That would actually be putting rational decisions into practice in StarCraft. Or just in games in general.
I don't know if we're at a high enough level for that, but that would be
no, absolutely. Prisoner's Dilemma, and I don't even know how that would work in StarCraft, but
I'm sure the Nash equilibria are there for a robot once Alpha Zero starts playing StarCraft.
Oh yeah. Can you just, out of curiosity, can you for people potentially watching, explain Nash equilibria and kind of what it means?
Oh yeah, it's just in rock paper scissors, the quote unquote optimal strategy is to play rock paper and scissors 33% of the time each, because they're all equally as good strategies. But sometimes there's some games where you want to do things 25% of the time and other things 50% of the time. So I'm just saying in StarCraft, maybe it's probably not a real Nash equilibria because there's just so many things you can do in StarCraft.
Right.
But just throwing in a DT shrine, like 15 to 20% of your games in all matchups seems like a really effective tool, and seems like especially in best of series, a good way to keep your opponent like on guard against certain things.
Mm-hmm.
If you play like I'm trying to think of a player who does the same thing. If you play like Puck, for instance, so he's the first player that came to mind. Not to bash on Puck or anything, he's really good, but he does pretty much the same thing every game. And I played a best of 5 series with him where I knew he would do the same thing every game, and I was able to consistently get an advantage in the early game because I basically just blind countered him.
Mm-hmm.
So building DTs early would avoid, every once in a while, avoids things like letting your opponents get super greedy.
Right, and that I feel like that makes sense naturally as well. Just changing things up keeps you unpredictable,
right?
And potentially even wins you certain situations.
That's right.
Where normally you might come out even, you might win because it happens to hard counter a certain situation or something like that.
That's right. That's right. And exactly as you were saying, it just gets you a free win once in a while. Like, good shit.
And I mean, some people are gonna be like, "Oh, why is he doing this dumb thing? He got lucky." But I mean, it's and not just in StarCraft, and sports in general, right? You see that happen all the time. Plays in different sports, they will, coaches will have them do something random, and there definitely is a science behind it. Absolutely, this is not just people randomly deciding to do something. There is a reason to give it a try.
That's right. They do it because it's hard to hold. Yeah. As you can see here, FanTaSy did almost everything right, but he still just gets fucked really.
Yeah.
There's one last thing I want to look at in this.
Sure.
Or think about is that PartinG built these blind shield batteries. I don't know if he does this every game or not. I don't really know if based on what he saw, he can predict that Banshees are coming. But he did build these shield batteries. It's kind of interesting.
Well, what else? What are the other options? If it's not a Banshee, what
could it be, right?
Right.
So let's see. PartinG has seen a Rax, a factory, and a starport.
Right. He sees
and he knows
no add-on for he only sees a reactor. So
that's right. He knows a Widow Mine came out of the factory, and he knows the Rex stayed on the reactor for at least a little amount of time because he saw the Marines coming out to stop his Adeptum Stalker. He saw the Widow Mine. Actually, the Stalker ate the Widow Mine.
Yes.
So I guess, what could he be afraid of? He could be afraid of either a Widow Mine drop, Banshees. A Liberator harass is unlikely. You almost straight up.
So maybe it is just because of the Banshee.
It could also be a.
Hellions, potentially, or.
I was thinking Hellions, but for Hellions, you want to put the factory on the reactor, so he knows. It could be Hellions, but it'd be pretty late and not as strong.
That's what I'm thinking, because he's already committing to these Marines, and he knows the Widow Mine came out, and the Marines and Starport's on the way. So
it's pretty much either a drop, Widow Mines, and Marine, Banshee play, and I guess shield batteries are pretty good versus both of those.
Exactly.
That's pretty smart by PartinG. If he thought that all out, if he just blindly built that and we're over, that's kind of lame. But if he actually thought out, okay, I saw a Rax, I saw a starport, and I know the Rax stayed on the reactor for a long amount of time.
And I think it might be in between, where he may not necessarily manually thought that all out, but I'm sure he's played. Oh, absolutely, thousands of games, and we both know that. I mean, he's an amazing player, best in the world.
He's a god, yeah.
Right. So at that point, it's literally become part of muscle memory, part of just intuition, where it's just you have that feeling, right? You see these buildings, and you don't have to think about it, but something in your mind's like, build two shield batteries, and he doesn't question it, and he's just like, all right, I'm gonna build it because if I feel like I should, then I'm just gonna trust my intuition here.
That's a great point. Yeah. That's very likely what it was, honestly.
Or maybe I'm sure they also spend plenty of time looking at their play. So I'm sure maybe at one point he actually did think through, do I put down 2 shield batteries? Is this optimal? Do I only need 1? And maybe he determined that yes, this works. What's it called? A higher percentage of the time. This putting on 2 shield batteries benefits me more than it hurts me. So as a result, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Either way, either it's a part of PartinG's build when he goes to T's. He smelled the Banshee, or
he was just like, just gonna put down 2 shield batteries. I got money. I got 200. I don't know what to spend it on. I'm just gonna put them down, and we'll never know unless we talk with PartinG. So
that's true.
So PartinG, if you ever see this, please let us know what was going through your head. We really want to know.
That's true. But all jokes aside, I think in the exact scenario where you see the reactor is on the Marines for a long time, and you're not going to have that many units, I think shield battery is an excellent. So if PartinG thought it through, props to him.
Nice.
If he's building it blindly, he got lucky.
Nice. Luck was definitely on his side this game. So
that's right. Ever in his favor. Okay, good shit, PartinG. PartinG played like a god that game.
Good job.
FanTaSy got a bit unlucky. All right. I think that's good for that one.
Yeah, that's good. Wrap it up. Thanks for watching, whoever was watching. Apparently we just do these randomly, so we'll. But yeah, okay. I'm stopping the stream now. There you go.